Hey, good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you're at, what time it is where you're at. It's time for our May podcast 2022 here for PPM. I'm going to go over several different things that have come up during this month, and hopefully it'll make sense to you. If not, you can always give us a call and I can explain it to you then. Okay, first thing is a virtual training program. The American Heart Association came out with this new idea of a virtual training program whereby you send the mannequins to the person and then they pack it all up and send the mannequins back to you. The mannequins are the blow-up mannequins, if you remember those. They have a clicker, but that's about it. They do not have any other feedbacks. Their original concept was that there was an app that would actually do the feedback for the person doing the compressions. Well, we've looked everywhere. There is no app that we can find that actually counts for the student or sees what the student's doing, the number of counts per minute. We see none of that. And it's basically two of the old blow-up mannequins, the little baby mannequin that's a blow-up and the adult mannequin that's a blow-up. Some of the issues with that is, again, we go back to the deconning. They're going to send it back to you. You have to decon it and send it back out again. There's always that potential that somebody's going to say they caught something because you did not properly decon the mannequin. The other issue, you have to blow these mannequins up. Now, if you're familiar with the old blow-up mannequins, the bag itself, you hooked it to the mannequin, and then when you rolled the bag up, it actually inflated the mannequin. So the bag actually became the pump for the mannequin. Pretty cool. However, these don't have that, which means you now have to blow into the tube, which now means your air is going into that mannequin. Any contaminations that there are now inside the mannequin. Not something easily deconned to try to send to the next person. And then what you're supposed to do is they literally go on board, watch the video from the American Heart Association on the class, and then you watch the skills via either Skype, FaceTime, or there's a lot of other ways they can do it. And then you certify them when you get the equipment put in the mail coming back to you. So when you open the box up and everything's busted full of holes, even though you saw it put back in the box, you're going to be out a pretty good chunk of money for that. So once again, even though they're calling this the virtual training kit, I see a lot of problems with this going out and trying to use this in that manner. Again, still not wild about this. Okay, next little item is hospitals won't accept the AHA CPR training. We had a situation, if you remember, about 2 years ago, maybe a little bit longer now. Many of you guys got yanked in to help me with a large training group for all the different schools that Shepherd Pratt had. We were doing anywhere from 100 to 150 students at a shot. And we had all these different skills training sessions set up all throughout the schools, and these people would have to rotate to the various skills sessions to get checked off. So it was a massive training program. It literally took us several weeks to get that done for all the different schools. And then recently we had some of their employees call to do a class with us, and we're told that they can't do that because they're only accepting their own instructors doing this program. In other words, programs held only at Shepherd Pratt doing this program. So we checked into AHA and we said, hey, what's with this? You know, they're not going to accept an AHA card from PPM, and AHA said that's perfectly fine for them to do that. So just in case you've heard that situation where Shepherd will not accept anybody's CPR but their own, that's actually true, and AHA says that's perfectly fine. Next little item, possible PTSD. Spoke a little bit about this in the last presentation, and again a reminder that when you're doing your classes, don't forget to bring up the fact that when somebody runs in with a full code scenario, and as many of you know that work in our field, EMS world here, that you don't save every one. You don't get that many saves out of the number of cardiac arrests you go on. So try to impress upon your students that they didn't do anything wrong, they're going to think they did, that if they need help with something, to call somebody, because it is a real fact that a good possibility they're going to suffer from PTSD on a code where they did not save the person. That just comes from doing it. Okay. Next little item, cost of doing business. It's kind of a little pet peeve with me, and for most of our people, not an issue, but we do run into this from time to time, where someone will say, how come we're charging $9 for a card? Well, this kind of gets back to dealers and distributors and how that all works. If you go into Best Buy and you say, hey, I want to buy this laptop, and I want to buy it wholesale from you, Best Buy, they're going to say, no, there's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way out. Because they have to buy it in order to stay in business. They've got costs and expenses that are well above anything we have here, to say the least. The bottom line is you can't sell stuff for what it costs us to buy. Otherwise, things that we have to pay, such as property tax, sales tax, insurance that we actually pay for you, the instructors out there, which is rather expensive, teaching kits that we keep online here for you and that you guys use, the electric, the phones, etc., etc., etc. That all is not free for us. That's not given to us. So the bottom line is we have to make a couple dollars off of those cards. Now when you figure when you buy that card on our e-store, guess what? The e-store takes a portion of that. Guess what? The credit card outfit takes a portion of that. So really when you start subtracting this, we are not making a ton of money off the cards. That's why we need more instructors, more classes being taught, more cards being bought. Just to keep the doors open, just to keep the lights on, just to keep doing what we're doing. So again, I don't want to hear any more about, oh, you guys are making a fortune off those cards. We are not. Okay, let's put that to bed final. Okay, some of the training centers are actually charging $25 to $50 for a BLS card. We charge $9. So take that for what it's worth. We do try to keep our prices as low as possible. So if you want your $2.60 card, go ahead, open a training center, pay all those massive expenses that we have to pay, and you can get your 4 cards for $2.60 a piece. Good luck with that. Okay? So enough of that. I don't want to hear that anymore from somebody saying, how come we're charging so much? Okay, change in PPM policy. If you remember back, well, several years ago now, we were running into a problem with the Heart Association having this Find an Instructor online program where you list yourself as an HA instructor and people call you. The problem was they were accepting payment. We were getting phone calls saying, I paid for this class and nobody was there, and we were not in that loop. So PPM had no idea a class had been scheduled. They had no idea who the instructor was, and we were getting ready to be sued on several occasions because our class didn't run and it wasn't our class. So that's why we stopped that. We said nobody can belong to this because of how it's being run. Well, recently we went in and relooked at their program, and they've actually fixed all the problems we had, all the complaints we had have all been fixed. So we are now opening that up to any instructor who wants to use that Find an Instructor program with the American Heart Association. So what you need to do is go into your network and add that to your network so that you can actually start getting calls and emails from people saying that, hey, they want to sign up for your class, and then you call them back, set it up, and it's all taken care of that way. So much better than the way it was before. As such, we're opening that up to anybody that wants to join that. And by the way, they didn't tell us they made any changes. Typically, they don't tell us when they make changes like that. But they have, and we're all in favor of it now. Okay? The secret word, by the way, because a lot of times we get calls saying, what was the secret word? The secret word this time is Podcast 2022. So podcast is all capital, PODCAST, no space, 20, that's 2022, and you'll get 10% off any of your purchase. Okay, so it's a limited time, so we have that open for a couple people. So the second you hear this, hurry up, get your order in, put that in as your code number, and you'll get your 10% off of what you just purchased. So we think that's a pretty good deal. Next thing, change to the instructor program. You know, in the past we were running our instructor program, try to run it once a month, once every other month, trying to get 4 people. We'd always have like 1 person ready to go and nobody else. So what we decided was, you know, that's not working. Let's change this. If a person's interested in the instructor program, what we're going to do is get them in immediately, get the process started, get them in to teach a BLS class, teach a Heart Saver First Aid class right here, get that knocked out, get it done, and issue their instructor card. So it's going to streamline the program. Hopefully it'll go much quicker, much simpler. We're not requiring them to buy equipment before they can do anything. Just show us what you got, the skills, and we'll go ahead and certify you. And then certainly down the road you need to buy equipment if you're going to teach on your own. But that's down the road. But we want to get you in line and get you done. Okay? DC of a product, discontinuing. We literally just got a notice today from our WorldPoint, our distributor, telling us that they were no longer going to handle the Preston line of mannequins. Now Preston has a full line, adult, child, and infant. They're not going to handle the Preston line anymore, which then means if they're not going to handle it, we can't handle it. So the bottom line here is we'll be dumping, we're getting rid of all the Preston equipment that we have here. So go online, check out our e-store. By tomorrow, we should have all that marked down. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the Preston mannequin, but again, if we can't get them in to be able to sell them, then we need to get rid of what we've got in stock. And if you want a good deal on a mannequin like a Preston, now's a good time to take a look and see if you can't pick one up at a good price. Okay, today's demonstration series by Miss Kiana here beside me will be on the adult choking and how she does the adult choking for her class, and add a little humor that we add to that. And I'll turn it over to Miss Key.
Hello, everyone.
Miss Key, I'm going to leave my mic on so it won't hurt to have both mics.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So just to let you know, again, I'm just using my own scenarios that I use in my class. You can choose to use it, take something from it, and add it to your own class. I like to make a scenario using the choking adult. I usually use this at the end of my class to wrap everything up with a choking situation, as well as use of the AED, as well as have some humor and some fun with it. So everyone knows, for the humor part, if you've had my class before, I referenced Michael Jackson. I'm a Michael Jackson fan. So I'll bring up the title of, if you ever heard of that song, Annie, Are You Okay? We know this is Annie and she is not okay. So you normally get a laugh out of that. It's a little corny, but I love it. Anywho, I also go over some things as it relates to choking. One thing I drive home is if someone is given the universal sign that they're choking, I ask that person, are you okay? Can I help? They nod their head yes, and then I explain that you come behind the person and place your leg, one leg between their two legs to balance yourself, so that if they pass out, they're not bringing you down with them. Also, finding their belly button, making a fist thumb size slightly above to perform that abdominal thrust, trying to create that artificial cough to get that object to come out. If the object comes out, great, but if it doesn't and the person becomes unconscious, you know you're going to lower that person to the floor and then immediately dial 911, find the AED, and come back to assist this person. If someone is around, of course you point to that person, tell them to dial 911, find the AED, but you go into that high quality CPR with chest compressions first. Another thing that I add into it, when my demonstration is being presented, I put something in the mannequin's mouth. None of my students see me do this, and I explain to them what I need for them to do when they come up for their choking adult. After they perform those chest compressions, they must do that head tilt, chin up, look in the mouth to see if they see an object. If seen, you remove it. If not, do not perform a blind sweep. It's so often I have students come up, they see the tissue in the mouth and they ignore it, and then they pretend that they're giving those rescue breaths, and then I come back and I say, well, did the person have something in their mouth? Yeah, I saw something, but that's how you can drive home that you have to look in the mouth before ventilating when you have a choking victim. So please take this information, use it in your class, have fun with it. You could put shiny items in your mannequin's mouth. It is unique. They're not expecting that. So when they do see it, whether you use that demonstration on your child, your adult, or your infant, it does sit with your student. They do remember that, and it drives the message home. Thank you again. Hope to see you in the next podcast. Thank you.